Hello, today I'm here with my February TBR. It doesn't mean that I finished my January TBR if you've watched my January TBR, but it is a little bit early in the month of January to be filming February TBR, but I was in the mood to create a little stack of books that I might want to get to in February, and then most of them are sequels to series that I want to continue with and should continue with, so it's a little bit ambitious. But anyway, so I'm filming it on the 21st of January, which is, like I said, a little bit early because we've got 10 days left of the month. And I've not done really well with my January TBR. Although I read 2 books from there, I've read 4 books from there. 2 I read in December, 2 I read this month, and 1 was a DNF. So I've made progress. So out of 11, I now currently have only 6 left, which is about half, obviously. But as it's still not the end of the month, I am still currently reading a couple of books, a couple of big books as well. I'm still hoping to read Silka's Journey in January, and hopefully the Paris Library too. That would be ideal. So that means the remaining ones, some of them will go into my February TBR. But quite honest with you, the Spell Shop I sort of currently am not in the mood for. So that one will go off of the TBR, as well as the Ghost Cat. The Ghost Cat, I'm not quite interested in it at the moment. I'd still like to get to the Nightingale, so this could be a possibility. This could be read in February, I'm not sure. And I would also still like to get to the Nesting, but again, I'm not sure timing wise, because there are so many books that I like to read and so little time, you know, the usual. And so for the actual February TBR, like I said, I'd like to get to sequels, so that's going to be hopefully my main theme, unless I, as usual, go off and do something completely different. Like I sometimes like using random number generator to choose from which TBR to choose from, and then using a TBR jar. I find that really fun. But I do want to continue with the series, apart from 1 book. I'll start with that one because it's not part of a series. It's just the one that I keep looking at and keep wanting to start, so I might actually do that in February. And that is Jurassic Park. Sorry for the sun. Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I'm gonna put it here. For some reason I'm just in the mood for it. I have been looking at it for the past few months and wanting to start it, and as I am in the mood still for sci-fi, I know this is not like the spacey sci-fi that I've been in the mood for, but I still want to read it so badly. So this could be a possibility that I could read in the month of February, and I'm so excited about it. So hopefully I'll get to it this month. I did also forget that I bought 1 book recently. Well, not one, I bought loads. It's The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I read this book back in 2014 and really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. But the other day I went for a coffee with my friend, and she mentioned this book again. That is one of her favourite books of all time, and she spoke about it a little bit more in detail, and I thought I actually really want to reread it. So we went book shopping after coffee, just in town, and I thought, if I see a copy of The Book Thief, I'm buying it. And guess what? I did buy it, like you can see. So it's quite a thick one, but for some reason I'm just really still in the mood for World War II fiction, which is exactly what this one is. But I'm actually really looking forward to rereading this one, so hopefully I'll get to this one in February as well. That would be just great if I did. So yeah, I just really want like a thick sort of story, immersive, and this one was that. I don't know if you know what this one is about, but set in the period of World War II, and it's narrated by Death. It's a lot about books because we've got a little girl who steals books when she sees them being burned or something like that. I remember it being a really warm and heartbreaking story, so I really want to read this one in February. So these 2 hopefully will be read. I know they're not sequels, they're not in the theme, but I just want to get to both of them, and they're both completely different genre. But here we go. So next 6 are part of the series, and I know for sure I won't get to all of them, but I've got the 4 that I'd like to prioritize, so hopefully I'll get to those. First one is Truth of the Divine by Lindsay Ellis. So this is the 2nd book in the trilogy. I'm pretty sure it's a trilogy. I read the first one in January. The video hopefully would have been up by now. If not, then I read the first one in January and gave it 5 stars. So I bought the second one, and this is another sci-fi series. It's well, the first book follows this sort of thing that there's been a leak that the US government actually has had first contact with an alien species, and that extraterrestrial presence has been on Earth for decades. And the leak came from the father of our main character, but she doesn't want anything to do with it. But then she somehow offers her services as an interpreter to this alien species, and it is amazing. I really enjoyed it, so I want to get to book 2 in the month of February. It's quite a big one again. It's over 500 pages, 530 something pages, so it's quite big. But I just really want to get to it, and the size for once doesn't actually scare me. I just know it's going to be great. I just know it's going to be super interesting, because the first book gave me all the excitement. It gave me goosebumps every now and then. It just got me so excited, and I just loved it. I would stop every now and then, shut the book and think, oh my god, this is amazing, this is amazing. So I'm really looking forward to book 2. My next 3 priorities are actually fantasy, funnily enough. But this next one is Siege and Storm. Again, the light. Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the series, in the trilogy. I read the first one, Shadow and Bone, in, I can't remember when, but I read it, pretty sure it was September, and really was really pleasantly surprised. I gave it 4 stars. It's quite an easy, light or original sort of fantasy with no high stakes, but I just really enjoyed it. This is the kind of fantasy that I do enjoy. I liked the main characters, I liked the magic, I liked the plot. I found everything really interesting, so I need to get to book 2 before I start to forget what happened in book 1, because like I said, it has been, by the time I hopefully get to it, it'll be like, what, 5 months since I read the first one, and I don't like doing that to my own series, even though I have done that plenty of times. But I think I need to get better and actually pay attention to my series a little bit more. So book 2 will hopefully be read in the month of February. Then I've got Magisterium, The Bronze Key by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare, which is the 3rd book in the Magisterium series. And I can't remember last time I read book 2, but that was quite a few months ago. And I have the 4th book already because I bought them cheaply in the Works, which is like a discounted shop in the UK. And I read the first 2. I enjoy them. They're not like super amazing books, but I do find them interesting, and they are sort of short as well. The font is a bit small. 250 pages. I don't know if it's like YA or middle grade. I feel like it's somewhere in the middle, but they're good fun, plenty of magic, interesting plot. So again, it's like your generic fantasy that I seem to be enjoying, and it's set in a magic school. So I just need to get to book 3 and then eventually get to book 4 and finish off the series. So need to do that hopefully in February too. My next and last priority, although after that I do have 2 more books to talk about, is Vengeance of the Pirate Queen by Tricia Levenseller, which is the 3rd book, I think, in the trilogy. I don't know if there are more books coming out at some point or not, but I just know that this is the 3rd book in the series. And when I bought it originally, I thought it was just a standalone. I thought it was a completely different book from the series. Turns out it's not. Turns out it's part of the series. So again, in January, I listened to Daughter of the Pirate King and then Daughter of the Siren Queen by the same author, which were rereads for me, by the way, but I just felt like I had to do it because I could not remember for the life of me what happened in those 2, but I really enjoyed them at the time. This time I only gave them both 4 stars, but I still like her books. They're really, again, really light fantasy, really like your generic one, really low stakes, I would say, in a way, but it's light-hearted. I love the main character, although in this one we follow different characters, like more of a spin-off from the first 2 books. It follows 2 different characters that are present in the more so 2nd book, I think. Or both of them? No, both of them, I'm pretty sure. So it's like a separate story, but follows on from the first 2, so I can't tell you what that one is about. So they're just really good fun. I really enjoy them. I like Tricia Levenseller's books. I think also romance in the books, she does it really well. They're not spicy at all, but they are a little bit romantic, so it's quite slow burn always, and I always feel the tension between the characters. So I am looking forward to book 3. Whilst the first 2 are still fresh in my mind, I want to get to this one. But as you can tell, it's like pirates, magic, sirens. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. So I'm looking forward to this one. And the last 2, like I said, they are, I won't be too upset if I don't get to them in the month of February. Ideally, I should. But one of them is Ghost Fields by Ellie Griffiths, which is, I think, the 7th or the 6th book in the series. I can't remember at this point. I think it's the 7th. So I read the last one a while ago again, so I need to get to it because I have been reading the series since I think 2020, maybe 2021, and I've got 10 books, so I bought them in like a set back, I think it was in 2020, and I have been slowly reading them, and this is the next one. But I think I've mentioned it so many times. In this one, in this series, we follow Dr. Ruth Galloway, who is a forensic archaeologist, and also we've got a different point of view, who is a DCI Nelson. So quite often the cases that come up in these books, something to do with like discovered bones or something to do with that, and somehow their paths always cross. It's really interesting. I'm not loving the series, but it's fascinating to read about, and it's a little bit different from your normal crime fiction because it also focuses on archaeology quite a bit, which adds a little bit of a different element to it. And it's interesting to follow the personal lives of both of the characters too, because there is a bit of that as well. So I'm enjoying them, and I need to get to the next one in the series so that one day I'll finish them. And I am looking forward to it, don't get me wrong. If I didn't sound like I was looking forward to it, I am. The last one I'd like to get to is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore, which is the 2nd book in like Dream Harbour series, I'm pretty sure. So I know it's not autumn at all anymore, but I don't really care. So I read the first one in October, I'm pretty sure, or somewhere, November. First half was like a 5-star. Second half killed it for me. I gave it 2.5 stars in the end. But I bought this book before I started the second half. So I've heard this one is even worse than the first one. I'm sorry for the people who love these books, but I don't know what I'm going to feel about it. So there could be a DNF with this one, but because I have already got it, I'd rather get to it sooner rather than later and see if I actually want to continue buying the books in the series, or whether this is going to be a DNF, or whether this is going to be a good one. Do you know what I mean? I like the cover of it quite a bit. I don't know if you can see. Hopefully it's focusing. I absolutely love the cover, and I love the fact that it's set in a bookstore, but I have heard that the romance bit in this specific book is a little bit toxic and not something I'm looking forward to. But like I said, because I've got it, I want to try and read it. But like I said, I could just follow the mood, or I could just be random and read some random books. So we'll see how it goes, but this is my TBR. If I show you the stack, it's going to be really ridiculous. This is the stack of books I'd like to get to in February, plus potentially 2 more from the other stack. I don't know how possible that is. Most of them won't be read, I'm pretty sure. And like I said, I am a mood reader, so most likely it's a possibility that I'll just drop everything that's on here and decide that I want to read something completely different, because there are so many exciting books on my TBR. But we'll see. This is the plan for now, on the 21st of January at least. So we'll find out if I get to them or not. So yeah, this is my TBR, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!